Thank you for joining me here tonight at Lotus Riché Ignites Life Coaching and Consulting. Of course, I'm coming off the birthday party that I was at with for Angela Elton. I want to thank everybody who joined the birthday party from all over the world. We are so super excited that you were at the birthday party. We had the Big Dreamer come through and so many others, just wonderful folks from all across the land. Thank you so much for joining the party. But right now, right here, we got a party going on right here with Lotus Riché Ignites. I got a phenomenal guest that's coming to join us this evening. So come on in and get in where you fit in, because you fit right here around my table. So while you coming in, I'm going to let you come into some funky jazz. Y'all know how I like to do it. I like to get the vibes right on your way in. So come on in, grab somebody's hand, grab a friend, tell your friends, tell your frenemies. That's right, tell your frenemies, because they need to hear what we're about to share tonight while we get hot on the box. So come on in. And when you come in, remember to let us know who you are and where you're from. We have people from Ohio coming. We have people from Japan, the Netherlands, New Zealand. So make sure you show up and you rep for wherever you're tuning in from. And make sure we got to get Jersey in the house. Come on through Jersey. Come on through South Carolina. Come on through Georgia. Come on through Florida. We want to see you here. And come on through Australia. And I cannot forget my folks in Canada. So come on in, Toronto, Canada. And Sean, I can't leave you out. And Greg, the Big Dreamer, all the way from Ohio. Come on in and get in where you fit in, because I got room right here around my table for you. So as you come in, like I always say, enjoy the tunes. This is the music. It's called Funky Jazz by the Dr. Love Sax. So pick up your glass, make sure you have some water or some whatever it is you drink, and make sure you have something to quench your thirst, because we have a lot of information we're going to share with you tonight. We have a phenomenal guest coming in, and he is going to share some wonderful things with us, because it's time that we shake off the dust, and we're going to shake off that dust here tonight. I know a lot of us have been in quarantine and we have been just kind of bogged up, but guess what? No need to be bogged up tonight. Won't you come on in and let it all hang out, because he's going to show us what we need to do to shake off the dust. Okay, so I see some folks coming in. Hey, we've got the show host, CEO of Live with Larry Pace out of North Carolina. Happy to have you here with us tonight. So be sure to send some shares, likes, and guess what? Make sure you start a watch party, because there is someone else on the other side of the world that might be awake while we are asleep, and they need to get this information as well. So come on in and get in where you fit in. I think I see Angie coming on in the house. Come on in and get in where you fit in. So look, let me tell you a little bit more about my upcoming guest before he comes on the scene. Now, this gentleman, he used to be like a huge bodybuilding guy. So for those of you macho men coming in, come on in. He's going to share some things for you that's going to build your mind muscle and your emotional muscle. He's going to help build that up for you here tonight. Now, I know a lot of folks that's coming on is looking for somebody that's going to uplift them, upshore them, to help them get to the next level. Well, guess what? My guest is going to help you do that as well. He's going to help you in your business. He's going to help you be the very best that you can be. So, as we move up in the beat, you hear that, right? I want you to welcome to my show the magnificent gentleman that I have with you, or have with me and you tonight. He is an author, he is a leader, he is a speaker, but most importantly, he is our guest here tonight. Would you help me welcome Mr. Michael Arterberry? Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Lotus?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
I'm good. Just, making it work with this corona, this corona thing going on. But we keeping it real and keeping it moving.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what we got to do. We got to do that every day, every day.
Yes.
Fantastic. So it's great to have you here. I'm telling you, it's been a few months since, maybe a couple months since I've seen you. And it's just a pleasure to see you and always talk with your wife. It's always great to speak to you guys. And I'm just so happy and thankful that you were able to make it to the show this evening.
Yes, yes, and I'm happy to be with you. And yeah, it's been a minute since we met, but a lot's been going on. So I'm really excited to be able to break bread and talk to you about it.
All right, fantastic. So come on, folks. We got some guests already chiming in. We got Live with Larry on the box. Good to see you, Larry. Thank you. Put down where you're from, and Larry led the charge. He's here from North Carolina. So thank you, Larry, so much for that. And Sean is all the way out of Ohio. So good to see you. And Mr. Unstoppable himself. I got to hook you up with Mr. Unstoppable because you definitely got a guest on his show. He's phenomenal. That's my main man, Terrence Leffridge, Mr. Unstoppable himself. So great to see you. And as you guys come in, go ahead, share, like, and please, please, please make it nice and easy. Start a watch party, please. Thank you so much. So tonight, I know we wanted to kind of touch bases with the folks tonight, Michael, and talk a little bit about how they can kind of shake off some of this dust that they got going on and shake off the dirt. So before we get to the shaking off the dirt part, can you tell folks a little bit about you, what you do, where you're from?
Well, I'm from Connecticut, and actually, to set up the shake the dirt, can I kind of tell you a story, Lotus?
Please
set it up.
Yes.
So check it out. My story kind of encapsulates me, what I've been through, and who I am as a person. So the story is about a farmer and a donkey.
Yes.
Right. And so this donkey is the farmer's one of his favorite animals, because what he does is when he finishes working on the farm, he brings the donkey back to his home. You know what I'm saying? So that he can allow his kids to play with the donkey, ride the donkey, and it's almost like part of the family. And so after working on the farm, he brings the donkey back, and they play with him, they ride him, and then he releases him back out to the farm, and he goes inside to eat. And then the next morning he comes out and he calls his donkey, and when he calls his donkey doesn't show up. So when his donkey doesn't show up, he's worried. So he starts walking around the farm. And as he walks around the farm, he finds that his donkey is at the bottom of an empty water well. Now he looks at him at the bottom of the empty water well, and he's like, wow, he wants to get him out. So he goes and gets 6 of his friends, and he brings them over to the well. They look into the well. Of course, they want to get him out. They decide they're going to pull him out with some rope. So they all get some rope. They start to lasso the donkey. They throw the rope, they miss him. They throw the rope, they miss him. They throw the rope, they get it around his neck. They don't want to pull that one because it'll choke him, so they loosen it up. They finally throw it to his hind legs. He steps into the rope. They shimmy it up his body, and they start pulling. They pull, donkey moves. They pull, donkey moves. They pull, the donkey moves. Then halfway up the well, they realize that the donkey's too heavy. So they lower him back to the bottom of the well. And now the farmer has to make a grim decision. Now, see, he can't feed him food at the bottom of the well because that don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? He can't starve him because if he starves him, like I said, it's almost like his pet. So he can't starve him. Then one of his hot-headed friends was like, yo, you know what? Shoot him. He's like, nah, I can't do that. That's too violent. So one of his more reasonable friends said, listen, we want to make sure your kids don't fall into the well. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover him with dirt so that your kids are safe, but you're going to have to sacrifice your donkey. So they start scooping the dirt. Every time that dirt hit the donkey, he screams. It hits the dirt, donkey screams. Hit the donkey, donkey screams. Then all of a sudden, the screams stop. And when the screams stop, they give the donkey a moment of silence. But they got to finish the job. So they keep shoveling, they keep shoveling, they keep shoveling. And then the next thing you know, you see the donkeys right here. They like, whoa. They start shoveling faster. The next thing you know, you see half the donkey's body. They keep shoveling, and the next thing you know, that donkey walks right out of the well that he fell into. So check this out, Lotus. Every time that dirt came across the wall, it would fall on the donkey's back. He would shake it off and he would step on it. And he took every scoop of dirt that was meant to kill him to save his life. So when you talk about me being able to introduce myself, what I have been able to do is I've been able to, like a lot of us, we're born with dirt, is I've been able to take the dirt that I've grown up in, I've been able to shake it off, and I've made it a catalyst to be successful rather than an obstacle to be a failure. You know, I grew up in a home with an alcoholic father, you know, a raging alcoholic father. So when I say raging, I'm talking about this man raged up until the age of 16 when I was 16 and he died. And so, you know, growing up in an environment like that, very unbalanced, you know, I grew up in poverty, you know, so both my parents worked full time. My mother was a housekeeper, but my dad was a bus driver. But see, my father spent his money in the streets. So my mother raised four of us with a housekeeping salary. You know what I'm saying? And as far as my upbringing and mentors and people trying to lead me the right path, I had siblings, but my siblings could only mentor me as well as they were being mentored by what was going on in my home. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, those are just tidbits of what I've come through. But the term shake the dirt is something that I like to instill, not only with the young people that I work with, but also with the adults, because that is what you need to learn with life. Because if you don't learn to shake your dirt, then your dirt will suffocate and take you out, just like in the physical sense.
Wow, that's so powerful. And I told you folks that we were going to have a powerful speaker on tonight. Now, some of you may know him, some of you may not have heard of him, and some of you, of course, I know you know him. So many of you know that he is the founder and executive director of Youth Voices Center, Inc., but he's also a powerful and phenomenal speaker. And tonight, he's going to help us shake the dirt. So if you like what he just shared about shaking our dirt, I want you to put a 2 in the comment below, because tonight we want to help you shake your dirt. So, Michael, can you tell me a little bit more about how people can really shake their dirt?
You know, so what I like to do is, the best way that you can learn to shake your dirt is that you have to walk back through your life and you have to kind of look at the certain things that you went through that created the dirt.
Right.
So what I do is I do workshops, and what I do in the workshop is I give you the opportunity to walk back and look at it, because when you go back and you look at what you've been through, what you find is you'll see that you have stepped on landmines in the process of living. You've accumulated some damage and you don't even know that you have the damage. But the decisions that you're making as you move forward are all predicated on the fact of what you went through when you hit the landmine. So you go back into your story and you start to piece it together. See, I'm a firm believer that if you touch your dirt and you really get a feel of what it is, it's not a mystery. See, people walk through life and they get hit with certain situations, and it's almost like being in a haunted house. You know, when the guy jumps out and he scares you, you know, you're startled. And that's what happens in life. You get hit with a situation, it's a crisis or a situation that's been set up, and all of a sudden it jumps at you and it scares you. But see, if you walk back and you look at it and you touch it and you understand it, it gives you the ability to maneuver and walk past it rather than allowing it to be a dead end.
Right. And you know what, Mike, I agree with that. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Unstoppable himself made a comment, and I want to share that comment with the audience. It said, what man uses to bury you, God uses to raise you up.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And that's what Michael Arterberry is talking about here tonight, how to shake your dirt so that what people meant for your bad, you can use it for your good as you shake it off. Because am I right, Mike? When people shake off the dirt, in order to shake it off, they have to first experience the dirt of what it is that they're coming through. And because of that, it's like a learning curve.
Right, right. And you know what happens is sometimes people are afraid to touch it because when you touch something, you know, it's sometimes it's an open wound. So
Yes.
you think you've overcome it. So some people don't want to walk back through their steps because going back to that tender time period brings back feelings, you see what I'm saying, that will make
Yes.
you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
So it's a challenge when you've come through difficulties because people are so quick to say, I've overcome it.
Yes.
And so I don't want to go back there. You know, I'll tell you, my sister's is about 60. And you know, she my house was crazy. I mean, like if I told you some of the stories, it would be like Lifetime movie type stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I came through some real situations. And I say that because my sister and I, we were having a barbecue and we were talking, and she decided to go to counseling at 60. So when she started to go to the counseling at 60, and the therapist started walking her through the stuff we went through, don't you know she stopped going? And the reason she stopped going is because she says at the age of 60, I don't want to go back and touch all that hurt because it's going to open things up and then start making her feel again. Now, I'm not saying that was a healthy decision, but that's why people are not receptive to walking back and feeling and dealing with their stories. But, you know, I do it in my workshops in a real delicate way so that it's not imposing and you don't feel like I'm violating you.
Right.
And I do it through activities so that the activities cause the conversation rather than me just saying, listen, sit down and tell me what you've been through.
Exactly. And, you know, in the psychology world, some of what you described, we call it the in vivo process. We take people back to the occurrence in their mind and we help them walk through it. But it's a very delicate process, and you have to know what you're doing to be able to help people to come through. And I love what you said, because you take people to a process to help them deal with the things that has buried them. And I want to share this as well. Mr. Unstoppable said, you have to bury a seed deep down in the dirt before it can sprout up into a beautiful crop. And that's basically what you do. You go dig down in the dirt. Dig deep down in the dirt and help people reach that dirty part, that bad part, that rough part, and you help them come up and rise out of it. And if you look at my logo, and this is one reason why I know my parents named me properly Lotus, because the lotus, as you know, when it grows, the deeper in the mud, in the dirt that the lotus flower grows, the more powerful and strong and majestic it rises to the top. And so I challenge each and every one of you to shake off your dirt and rise to the top.
Yes. And you know, what I do when you say it's delicate, is when I take them back through their story, I always emphasize that we're going to go back to visit, but you are not allowed to stay.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So I make that very clear that you're not allowed to stay. And I make sure, like my workshops are usually 2 full days. So I make sure before that workshop comes to a conclusion, we have processed it properly so that you can now move on rather than me leaving you in a state of mind where you back at that place where the damage had occurred.
Exactly. And so what we're going to do right now, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back because we're going to move up to something else that we want to share with you about once you shake off that dirt, how you really got to be the master of your own self and then step into the driver's seat. You got to drive your own car. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back and we're going to talk about that. You ready for that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
yes,
right.
ma'am.
All right. Here we go. All right, folks, we are back with my fabulous guest, Michael Arterberry. And if you're just showing up, come on in and get in where you fit in, because Michael and I are about ready to come right back in front of you to talk to you a little bit more about how to shake your dirt and then move forward. So, Mike, thank you for being here again. Thank you so much for telling us about how to shake that dirt. But after we shake that dirt, what's the next process?
Okay, so after shaking your dirt, another thing I like to teach both the young people and adults is to be the driver of your car, not the passenger of your car. You know what I'm saying? And so what I mean by that is it starts with affirmation, and it starts with having a positive outlook or a positive self-esteem or feeling good about yourself. And what's difficult about it is that we struggle with it on an individual basis. And what we need to understand that not only do we struggle with it on an individual basis, then we have outside resources that don't help us. So,
Yes.
it could be our peers, it can be family members that may not help us. So, the human nature we battle, but then we battle with what people may say to us. Now, I say that because if you don't learn to process what is being said to you and process your thoughts, it starts to become evident in the reflection of what you show to the world.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And so you have to learn to be able to control that thought process, because we are products of our thought lives. You see, so if you allow something to stick, like we talking about dirt, if you allow a seed to germinate itself, then that seed starts to grow. And so what I teach is that you have to be able to process what's being said. And when a thought comes that you don't want, you have to immediately get rid of it, because if you don't get rid of it, you know what I'm saying, it will become the driver of your car. You know what I'm saying? So, it's living a conscious life and not being what I consider sloppy, so that you are on your toes 24/7 saying, do I keep this? Do I get rid of it? Is it something that will allow me to benefit me, or is it something that's detrimental to which way or what I'm trying to do?
So, folks, if you think this is great stuff, put great in the comments below. If you think this is great stuff, and go ahead and send up some thumbs up and some hearts up, because we're trying to get the analytics up. We want to make sure that Facebook know what time it is that we're giving out some great information to help you, one, shake your dirt, but also be in the driver's seat of your own car. So that means being in the driver's seat of your own life. Okay, so again, for those of you just coming in, we got a powerful speaker here before us, author, and we're going to talk about his book in a little bit as well. So come on in, get in where you fit in. And I want to say hi to a few folks right here. Gerald Patterson, it's good to see you. Thank you, Gerald. Go ahead and put down where you coming from. Professor Barbara Austin, good to have you here. And my retired fellow brother in the military, I want to thank you for your time and your service and your sacrifice, Gerald Peterson. We go way back. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to say hello to Eric J. Keese. He is an amazing person too. I was on a show with him. He came on my Wellness Architect show with my homeboy, Kevin Thornton. So it's good to see you here, Eric. It's good to see Patrice Campbell. Thank you for being here. Malik Lorenz, Amadis, good to see you here. Gregory Taylor out in New Jersey. And those of you where I don't know where you're coming from, go ahead and put where you're viewing us from, because we want to know and we want to reach out to you and embrace you. Larry Bush from Georgia. Hey, brother, that's my brother. He know what I'm talking about. Good to see you. Wow, Larry Bush, I feel so honored. Lisa Allen, good to see you in the place. Michael in Hampton. Hey, what's going on? And the profound speaker herself, Sheandra Hardy, is with us tonight as well. So those of you that's just coming in, come on in and get in where you fit in. I got plenty of room around my table for you. I got Mr. Michael Arterberry here with us tonight. And if you just tuning in, you just missed a little bit of something that was so profound, because he just talked about shaking off the dirt. That's right, shaking off the dirt. And then let me tell you what happened after he said shaking off the dirt. Boom! Mr. Unstoppable came through and said, every time you have dirt thrown on you, shake it off. Can y'all do that? Come on, Mike. Let's shake it off. Right? Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Yeah, because it makes a catalyst to success when you're able to shake that dirt off. But then once you shake that dirt off, you got to go right back to this realization right here. And this is what we're talking about right now. How to be the driver of your car.
Yes.
So can you share a little bit more? Tell people how they can continue to be the driver of their car, because so many people are backseat drivers in their own car.
Right. So check this out. I'm going to share something with you. So this is a great story to give you an example of how you cannot be the driver of your car. Now, what happens when I said that it could be thoughts, but it also can be life situation that you've gone through. So I was running a youth group in a high school, and there was a young girl in the group, and she was you could tell she was angry. You know, she was angry, and you know, I run my group in a circle, and I saw she was angry, and she was so angry you could almost feel the heat off her body.
Yes.
So every chance I got, I would try to nuzzle up next to her, make her laugh, you know, and I could see I was making progress. You know what I'm saying? I was making progress. And then during lunchtime, I went and snuck up behind her. She was watching a video on her phone with her girlfriends. And when I snatched her phone, I saw her fighting on the video. And so when I saw her fighting on the video, I'm like, wow, I started to see really how angry she was. And it scared me, Lotus. So it scared me enough that now I approached her and I said, listen, her name was Lexi. I said, listen, Lexi, your anger is a little over the top. You know, once this is over, I really think you need to go see someone. And then also I went to one of the teachers in my group and I said, listen, when this is all over, you need to make sure that Lexi gets some help, you know. But later on in my workshop, she now felt comfortable enough to let us know why she was angry, Lotus.
Yes.
And so, she drops it on the group and she says when she was growing up, her grandmother and her mother allowed some man to move into the apartment and allowed him to stay there, and he molested her.
Oh, wow.
And when he molested her, Lotus, she told her grandmother and her mother, and they did nothing.
Yes.
Lotus, they did nothing. So now this girl is wounded. She's going through life. Things and years go by. They let her uncle move into the house.
Wow.
And they let the uncle move in. And guess what, Lotus? He molests her as well. Wow. She goes to her grandmother and she goes to her mother. She tells them and they do nothing about it. So now you got this angry teenage girl that any chance she can get it off, she gets it off. Now the terrible ending of the story, when I talk about being the driver of your car, is one day after this workshop, two girls and their boyfriend came to her house to jump her. She comes out of the house with a butcher knife and a scissors.
Wow.
She killed the girl and she punctured the lung of the boyfriend. Wow. Now, so she went through something in her life that became the driver of her car, and that life situation drove her right into a prison cell.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is, as we go through things in life, and if we don't learn to shake it like our dirt, it becomes the driver of our car.
Yeah.
And what I teach young people and adults is that once you walk back through your steps and you realize what that thing is, you have to take back your keys. So you take back your keys, and when you take back your keys, you become the driver of your car, and you become part or back in control of your life.
So let me ask you this, because I know people often, you know, they can get to the point of shaking the dirt. Okay, right. They can get to that point, right? They go there, they shake it off, and then they can get back, you know, behind the wheel of the car. But this is the problem that I see with so many people. They don't know how to take back the keys.
Right.
So
right.
to not just their just to their life, they don't know how to take back the keys. So how do they do that?
Well, you have to acknowledge, first of all, that you don't have them. So see, that's part of the process, you know. So check this out. This happened with me. This is a funny one, and when I realized I didn't have my keys, so my bro, I'm a ex-athlete. You know, I played a lot of sports coming up, and my kids are really athletic. So my brother-in-law, you know, my niece was having a birthday party, and my brother-in-law, you know, called us up, told us about the birthday party, but my daughter had a state soccer game. So we told them we wasn't coming to the birthday party,
right? Because
we was going to the state soccer game. And my brother-in-law lost his mind, Lotus. Now, he wasn't calling me up. He wasn't, you know, being mad at me, but he was calling his sister.
Right.
So in my house, you know, I'm hearing it in the other room, and they arguing and everything. So this thing got me uptight. So I'm walking around, and I can't say nothing to him. I got to let her handle it. And I'm going in and out of these workshops, not carrying it, but any chance I can talk about it, I'm talking about it. So I'm in one of my workshops with the teenagers. And after I drive the car, you know, be the driver of your car, one of the teenagers said, you know, I do adjective names in my group, so my name is Mighty Mike. So he said, hey, Mighty Mike, he says, your brother-in-law's driving your car. And when he said that, I was like, whoa. And that's when I realized that I had been walking around for a week. My brother-in-law had been in total control of my car. By me acknowledging the fact that he had my keys, I just said, you know what? I'm not going to give him another second of my time. So I took my keys back. And I was able to function. So when you go back and you acknowledge that, wow, that's where my keys were taken, you just have to empower yourself, take it back, and take back control.
But I love what you said. You know, people have to acknowledge that you don't have the keys, because a lot of us are walking around in oblivion. We don't even realize that we're not even sometimes we're not even in the car. Right. Somebody else is driving our car for us. Somebody else is telling us what to do.
Yes.
So you gotta really acknowledge where you're at. Are you even in your car? And if you are in your car and you don't have the keys, then you got to get out and go get the keys. Right. Take them back from people who have maybe overpowered you, maybe who have forced the keys from you.
Yes.
But you got to get your keys back. But you got to realize first that you don't even have the keys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's people. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm a firm believer that that people live very unconscious lives, and it's a shame. You know, so I think there's a statistic like 90% of the world lives unconsciously. So when you live unconscious, you sloppy. You know, and you know, when people are unconscious and they're sloppy, not only do they not know where the keys are, you know what I'm saying? They can't manage their life, period. You see what I'm saying? You know, and not only manage your life, you know, being a person that likes to help other people, you know, when you live a conscious life, it's a more fruitful life because you are more connected to the world. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's so much more to just grabbing your keys.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being in rhythm with what's going on
Right.
and being connected to what's going on around you.
Right. And I want to take a moment, folks, to look at some of the comments, because Mike, we got Shiandra Hardy out of Douglasville. She said, yes, Lotus, I agree with you that there are many who don't know how to take back the keys of their life, so they remain stagnated and lost.
Yes.
So, well, what are your thoughts about that? How, that they stay stagnated and they stay lost? What are your thoughts on that?
And that's terrible. And that, the worst thing you can do, not the worst thing, what I hate to see is to see an adult that is stagnant and lost, Lotus.
Yes.
But you see but that's my job.
Yes.
See, that's why I do what I do. So when I bring people into a room and I see that they lost and they stagnated, is what I do is I start speaking to them and we start connecting some of those dots. See, people, I call myself, my kids call me like with the teenagers, they call me the teenage whisper. Because like with a dog, like the dog whisper, he's able to speak to dogs, but he don't speak the dog language. But what I'm able to do is I'm able to quiet my spirit, and the Holy Spirit takes over. And so I listen to what you say, and I take what you say and I piece it together. So that's that person that's stagnant and they can't really get focused. What I do is I allow people to speak to me, and then I start to piece together all that jumble that's in their brain.
Yes.
Because they're unable to move this stuff to the side. But again, like I said, thinking and living consciously, I'm able to listen to them, put the puzzle together, not give them answers, but give them something that they can refer to in a proper perspective on where they are in that state of mind.
Awesome. That's awesome. So Shiandra Hardy also said, yes, someone else is driving your car and driving you wherever they want you to go. Wow. Yes. That's a powerful statement, because a lot of times we get in situations, and when we get there, we look around and be like, how did I get here? Because somebody else is driving the car.
Yes, yeah. It don't take much time. It don't take much time. You know what I'm saying? And that's your peace of mind. As you get older, I'm getting up there in age. I'm not old, so I'm not calling myself old. But as you get older, I don't have time to not have a peaceful life. So I need to be balanced and connected at all time, so that each one of my days are quality days. So, that's part of evaluating and just making sure you know where you are and what you're doing at all times.
Exactly. So with that being said, I wanted to also share with folks that, this is something that a lot of us are really dealing with at home, and it's pounding on us because we're in this pandemic and we're quarantined or what have you. And a lot of us can't shake the dirt, not because we're not able to, but oftentimes because we don't realize that we need to do some dirt shaking.
Right.
A lot of us don't realize that, we're not driving the car, and a lot of people don't know how to drive the car. But this is what Mike is teaching you today. Michael is trying to share with you, look, I help people learn to shake off the dirt. I help them learn to be the driver in their own car. Okay. And I also help them to do this first, because we talked about this, but to acknowledge that you ain't got the keys.
You don't have the keys.
And then he helps you take the keys back.
Yes.
So after you help them do that, what else is it? Because I know it's another step, because they gotta, once they get them keys back and they start driving their own car, or do they really start driving their own car once they get the keys back?
Well, what you got to understand is that taking back your keys you don't take back your keys once. See, that's why I talk about living a conscious life. Somebody can take your keys multiple times in a day. So by taking back your keys, it's dealing with every situation as it comes. See, if I get up in the morning, I get in my car and somebody cuts me off in the road, and I don't shake that little bit right there, that can have my keys. I walk into my job, I'm upset. The dude at the red light cut me off. Somebody in the office tries to talk to me. Now I cut them up because I got cut off in the car. So when you taking back your keys, what people have to understand is it can be a big situation like the young lady Lexi that I told in a story, or it could be as simple as just having a argument with a coworker. So taking back your keys is again conscious. Where am I at every moment of the day, so that my days become productive? You see what I'm saying? Rather than being somebody just running in place.
Wow. And so many people are just running in place because they don't realize that they're running, but they're not moving.
No movement.
They're not moving forward.
Yeah. You know, people spend so much time and energy on things that don't matter.
Right.
You see, they get so caught up on, they think busy is the equivalent to progress.
Right.
And see, you know, people have to understand that, and busy, believe it or not, when we talking about dirt, some people keep busy just so that they don't think about their dirt. So it's strategic, if you keep your mind busy, then you don't think about your problems. Anytime there's quiet time is when you start to reflect and you really start to get down to some of the things going on in that head. So people keep running just so that if you keep running, you don't have to focus on what really has going on in your life.
Right. And that's why I always say you have to got to take mind over what you feel really matters. Because if you don't mind about the matters around you, you don't mind the matter that you don't have your keys, you don't mind the matter that you got dirt all over you and you need to shake it, you don't mind the matter of your money and your finances and your emotions and your mental and spiritual and physical well-being, then who's really driving your car? Because you don't mind none of it.
Yeah. And you place your responsibility on others. And that's something I can't stand. Listen, if you live in sloppy, don't bring that up into my arena. You know what I'm saying? And make me responsible. So because you doing something, you're gonna make me have to condition myself around your dysfunction. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. You know what I'm saying? So, be responsible for yourself.
So I love what you just said. And Angie said, have to go forward and not backward. And a lot of us are paralyzed by this thing we call fear. And we're not moving at all. We're not going forward. We're not going backward. We're staying paralyzed in place. So I want to invite you. I want to invite each and every one of you. If you have a question, because we're moving to the top of the hour, and if you have a question that you want to ask Michael, go ahead and ask him, because we're going to take a break in a minute, and then we're going to come back and let you ask him some questions. So before we take this break, Mike, I want to show this response. Sheandra Hardy said, and that is why you have so many people walking around with regrets and they are so angry. So before we take a break and then come back and answer some questions, what do you got to say about that? Because people just mad. Sometimes we think people, they just mad for no reason. They just mean, but they're not mad for no reason.
Right. Well, I think that when self-awareness is big, and when you walk around and you're angry, you see these people and it takes away the quality of their lives. But she's
Yes.
also talking about that anger when it's projected on you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's when I lean on my Christian principles, to be very
Mhm.
honest. So,
Mhm.
like the Bible said, you slap one cheek, I turn to the other cheek and just, give that. But, because, coming up as a football
Yep.
player for a long time, that wasn't my mentality. So
Right.
when you see that anger and it's displaced, when I see it, I've come to a point where I laugh at it. So rather than, arming up and want to fight you over it, when I see that your anger is displaced and you are just displaying that you are an unhappy person, I find some comedy in it, because it's kind of sad that people are at that place.
Amen. Amen. And folks, some of you just coming in, I want to send a special shout out to University of Phoenix, my alumni in the house, Dr. Tam did a fabulous job on the show last night. Welcome, Dr. Tam. Good to see you with us. Alaric Simon, good to see you. We are so happy to have you with us. And Marlene Slade, good to see you, Marlene. Happy to have you with us. And Daisy, all the way out of South Carolina, good to see you. Good to have you here. And for those of you that's just coming on, we have the remarkable, phenomenal Mr. Michael Arterberry with us tonight. He's an author, he's a speaker, and he is also the founder and executive director of Youth Voices Center Incorporated. And so we're going to take a quick break for like 2 shakes of a monkey's tail. And then we're going to come back and we're going to take any questions that you have, because we have been talking about some serious things. We've been telling people how to shake their dirt. And if you don't know what shake the dirt is, ask us that when we come back from the break. We didn't only talk about how you can shake your dirt, right? We also told you that you can be the driver of your own car, because what we found out is that a lot of people they're not even driving their own life. They're not even driving their own car. You know why? Because they don't even know they don't have the keys. But you got to acknowledge you don't got the keys in order to take the keys back. So when we come back after this quick break, we're going to take some questions. So please post your questions. And if you haven't yet, start a watch party, like and share. Start a watch party, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Mike, I got to tell you, you have brought the fire. You have brought the fire tonight. So, folks, if you feel like he brought the fire, type fire in the comment below. Type fire in the comment below. And those of you that just coming on, if you missed any of the broadcasts, please go ahead and replay, share, like, and start a watch party, because it is unequivocal that Michael Arterberry has shared some phenomenal things this evening. So, Mike, after people take back the keys to their life, to their car, okay?
Yes.
What's the next step? What's the next step?
Well, now once you got your keys and you got some sort of direction, another thing that I like to talk about is how you want to be remembered. And what I mean by how do you want to be remembered is your legacy.
Yes.
Your legacy. What do you want to leave on this earth, and what impression do you want to leave on people? I heard a lady, and she was speaking, and she said that when she leaves a room, she wants people to sniff as if they smell cologne or perfume and say that God was in the room. And when I
Wow.
heard, yeah, that's powerful, right? That's
Yes.
powerful. So when she said that, I said to myself, that's powerful. And not to be a copycat, but
Yes.
you better believe that's something that I try to strive for. But not only that, I heard a song where it says, if you are looking for him, I
Yes.
hope you find him in me. And I'm
Ah,
saying that about God. Again, I'm not trying to be God, but if you're looking for God, I'm hoping that when they experience me, that you find him in me, because I may be the closest thing that some people may get to God, being a Christian man myself. But I think your legacy and how you leave people is tremendous, Lotus. And I think that,
yes.
people have to really be conscious of what they're putting out in the world, how they're being received. I went to my 25-year high school reunion, and I was always a big kid. So I had the choice to either be a bully or
Hmm.
be the one that protected those being bullied. And
Right.
so I chose as a young man to protect those being bullied. Now I tell
Awesome.
you that because I went to my 25-year high school reunion, and
Hmm.
my class president pulled me to the side and she says, listen, I want you to know that there's
Hmm.
people here tonight just because they emailed and called me, and they came because you was coming. And Lotus, when she told me this,
Hmm.
I mean, I was humble. I was
Yes.
humble, but I understood that was my legacy. That's what I left for those people. That I was a person that reached out and protected them when they were the weaker person, or people were bothering them. And so,
Yes.
I think we need to put a lot of energy into what we represent in the world, and what you want people to take
Right.
away when you leave them.
I concur. And a lot of people really don't get it that you every day, like Maya Angelou told Oprah Winfrey, because Oprah Winfrey said to her, I wonder this what will be my legacy, or this
Yeah,
will be my legacy. And she
yeah,
said to her, you have no idea.
no idea. Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's people ask me, how do you define success? And a lot of people, when they define success, they start to pull out their accolades, and
Hmm.
and I've done many things in my life, but the way that I am able to measure my success is the fruits of my labor.
Exactly.
See,
Exactly.
for me to see success is for me to look at a person
Hmm.
that I poured into,
Yes.
see them be able to produce a
Hmm.
product from what I was able to feed them. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
about me, it's about what I'm able to provide and to give to other people. And I think that if we
Right.
live more selfless lives, the
Mhm.
society would be a lot different.
I concur. And now I want to share a little bit with our guests some information from your page. And when he talks about he's touched a lot of folks' lives, it's unequivocal he has. And Mike has been on a lot of different shows, and he's had some horrific things happen in his life where he had to be in a wheelchair. And when he talked about protecting people, let me share this with you. This is some of what Mike looked like years ago. So he was able to protect people, and this is kind of what he looks like now. So when people look to him for protection, they weren't looking for somebody that was trying to be paid for protection. They was looking for somebody who loved people and that was willing to stand up for people and help them help themselves, not be afraid and rise above being ran over. So, Mike, I know you help a lot of children. I know you work with children and you help them rise above. So, can you please talk a little bit about that, and also go ahead when you can, go ahead if you would, and put in our businesses. Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry. I had lost you there for a little bit, Lotus.
It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah,
got you.
yeah,
I got you. You
yeah.
didn't lose me. I blacked this out so they could see some of the things that you've done and how you help people. So if you would, right here in the chat, I just sent you a hi right there. Go ahead and put something in there. And Angie said, very powerful. Yes, this is very powerful. I like to share people's ideas and concepts. So, how can people reach out to you and how can they buy your book? Because we didn't talk about that book and we're right at the top of the hour, but I don't want to walk away without talking about your book.
Okay, real quick. My book is called Be Encouraged. That's my tag. Um, and you know, it's a book written in devotional style, and so you know, it's a compilation of just different pages of what the energy that I just brought across the waves of social media. I've been able to put it on paper. That's
Yes.
the best way I can explain it. When you read the page, especially if you heard my voice and you heard my energy, you read a page and you'll feel that vibration actually come across on my work and and my writing, you know. So that's Be Encouraged. But also, Lotus,
Yes.
I launched an online course
Hmm.
called Shake the Dirt Experience.
Yes.
Okay, so people can go to shakethedirtexperience.com and they can, you know, register for the program. And once they register, they get a free gift. And
Yes.
it's an 11-week program where I do exactly what I just told on the program, is I allow them to go back into their story and really get in touch with what it's about. But you know, my website is michaelarterberry.com. My nonprofit is youthvoicescenter.org. Michael Arterberry on Facebook if they want to follow me. My LinkedIn is Michael Arterberry. Um, you know, and you know, all I'm about is connecting with people like yourself with very
Yes.
good energy. But I want to drop this before we lose the time. And this is in the page of my book. They still got to buy it, but I'm gonna give them a little treat here. But
Ah,
short-term thinkers plant gardens, long-term thinkers plant trees, eternity-minded thinkers plant themselves in the souls of others. And I like to end with that, Lotus, because what I'm hoping is that during this time together, I was able to drop that on your listeners, but
yes.
also be able to drop a little something of that on you
Yes.
as being able to facilitate this thing and get this word out to the people.
I so appreciate you. And what I tell my folks when they come through, I tell them to drop that positive energy because we need that positive energy. So I'm going to, and if you would, Mike, go ahead and type in the chat if you want to share any of your links or anything like that. Go ahead and share that so we can put it on the screen.
Link.
And so, with that being said, I'm going to charge you guys to drop that positive energy just like this. This is how you drop that positive energy and come on this show and meet people just like Mr. Michael Arterberry. Don't forget to get his book, Be Encouraged. It is sold on Amazon. You can get it. It's a fantastic read. You're going to love it. It's 250 days of motivation and encouragement. And especially at a time like this, when we locked in the house, this is where you need to go. Go on right over to Amazon. I encourage you to pick up the book. You will not be sad that you picked it up. It's very affordable. You can get it on Kindle for $3.99, and I think it's $10.99 in hard copy. So go right on over and get that book. And what page was that you were reading from? Because I'm so happy that you gave us a little taste of your book. What page is that on?
Yeah, that's right on the inside cover. You right after the acknowledgments. It's right there
All
on that
right,
first page.
fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. Because I'm gonna see if I can get that for you guys, so I can put it in there. Let me see. Let's see. Right after the okay. I don't see it, but I tell you what, folks, if you want it, if you want that information, reach out to Michael Arterberry. Reach out to him and he'll give you that tidbit of what he just said, because it's unequivocal. We definitely need to hear what he's saying. Definitely, for sure. So with that being said, Mike, I just want to thank you again for being here. Again, you know, you came in, you dropped that positive energy, you dropped nuggets, and I hope people were taking copious notes and were listening, because at the end of the day, all we have is us.
That's
So
it.
any final thoughts before we head on out?
Nope. I just want to thank you, Lotus, and you continue doing what you got to do, being the branch. You know what I'm saying? And to just allow us to continue to reach out and do our thing. Thank you, Lotus.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I love all of you, and thank you so much. And don't forget to reach me right back here next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And oh, by the way, Mike, I'm looking at going, I'm thinking about upshoring my hours. We'll be changing to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the next couple of weeks. And I'll give you folks a shout out and let you know when that's going to happen. But in the meantime, and in between time, we love you and we appreciate you, and have a great evening.